Anything out? I'm going to call on you then. Richard, you're first. How'd you feel being alone? No cast, no support, not knowing if there was a call. Did we follow through? Did we not follow through? And guys, there's no right or wrong here. This is all real. So, Richard, how do you feel? You muted, bud.
It was a pretty tough weekend. I wouldn't say we were completely alone, though. If we went to the Lord's chat and followed along with your homework that you still gave us, even though we didn't have calls. Mm-hmm. That homework was helpful. Made me feel a little less alone. Good.
Now, feeling less alone or feeling alone, how was it trying to follow through on your goals?
I feel like it was still the same. I had to work a majority of the weekend, so I think I ended up putting in 36 hours over Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So you were a little distracted anyway, correct?
Yes.
Got it. All right. Well, good job. Keep going. Now, did anybody feel the other way where it was harder to keep going or maybe didn't post? I purposely didn't post. How do we do? Anybody go that way, or did you all post? Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so I done most of it and I did post, but I didn't criticize anyone. I found that very weird and hard to do when everyone's in the same boat as me, just trying to work on themselves, I'll be honest. It was very hard to go and say, no, that's no good, you shouldn't be doing that, or you should do this when we are all in the same boat.
I think that's a great reflection. I'll tell you why I disagree. Remember what we talked about last week, where you want to have people in your life that will call you out, right? You want to be in a position where you can comfortably say whether you followed through or not and know and own what the repercussions are, right? I'll give you an example. I had drinks with Kathryn, okay? I'm comfortable with that. I didn't post that for you guys because I don't want to throw you off when we weren't having a call, okay? And I also saw other people telling me that they didn't follow through on some of their things. Here's the difference. I can move forward with my wife and not have anything be affected. If we don't post or we can't attack each other in this safe environment so that we can prepare for the bigger picture, then you're setting yourself up for possible failure, right? Oh, crap, I had a drink. So now I might as well just quit, right? We might not see a ton of people come back after this weekend. So that, yes, you're in the same boat, Michael, if you think that you guys are all here right now, especially if you didn't follow through on one of your objectives or one of your goals, or you remove something that you then added back in on the weekend. But we need to be able to talk about it, deal with it, and understand where we are and what those repercussions look like. For example, many of you would have issues with your spouse, depending on what you gave up or didn't give up, right? Awesome. Let's hear from somebody else. Steven, go ahead.
Okay. I think I did all of them. Mm-hmm. I know I didn't post a whole lot. I had to work and there was some stuff with the house going on and all. So there's a lot of activity going on that kind of made me almost forget to post. Mm-hmm. But I did try to catch up at night and go through and go in there. As far as criticizing, I didn't see a lot of criticism going on. I did have a couple of people that I felt like I could try to offer some, constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. In such a way as just say, hey, you know what? Like one person just felt like they couldn't do anything about their situation. And I'm like, dude, if nothing else, pray. Because God moves and things happen. And another person I saw was just really having just a hard time, just essentially vomiting their emotions and their frustrations. And I'm like, dude, garbage in, garbage out. Somebody dumping you full of garbage. You got to manage that. Get some good stuff in you so you can have some good stuff out. Other than that, though, I didn't see a whole lot of stuff that I felt like I was qualified to criticize.
Yes, here we go. So you just hit the nail on the head. So quite often, you guys, as you step into leadership, first of yourself, you don't feel comfortable, right? Let me give you an example. We're going to talk about content today and how to, I know some of you want help with the process of writing it out, okay? So I'm going to use, Greg, I'll use yours since you keep having a little bit of stress over this. So, you want to stop with the social media scrolling, okay? So whether or not you feel qualified because you've only recently made this choice is actually in your confidence if you're going to follow through on it or not, right? If we're doing it from a place of love, you said it, constructive criticism, okay? Even if you're unsure of yourself, you can then go and say, well, I think you could do this, this, or this. Or that was a good example you used. I don't know if you're into the word, but you can get into the word right now, right? That's a really good example because that's an opinion-based point of view that many wouldn't necessarily agree with or want to do or feel like it's helping in the moment. And others would.
I'll tell you what, I've had it change things in my life. I guarantee you.
Fair enough. Then if you feel that passionately about it, you talk about it. You can criticize somebody, right? But like if we're using Greg's, stop scrolling on social media, right? Greg might feel like, well, that's not good if I've only just recently started this challenge to say you're wasting all this time. You could be, it's like, what's the purpose of the video? Well, Greg would say, I want people to learn with that time rather than just scroll on social media and just go down a rabbit hole of crap, right? So Greg's post could be about that. And then he would feel potentially like, well, I've only been doing this for a couple of weeks, how can I say I've really learned anything? Right now, I know that's different for Greg actually, because he's in my program, but the point is we have to let go of the limiting beliefs. If you've decided to follow through on it, meaning if Cass is on a call or not, I'm still going to do this, or just take responsibility when you didn't follow through, right? Don't defend yourself. Don't justify. That was sort of the purpose of trying to get you guys to attack each other. It's too bad you didn't really do it. The whole point is to not be defensive, right? You can step out in leadership only if you're not a big defensive cow. Does that make sense? Go ahead, Serenity.
I have a sassy moment coming up here.
Go.
I just want to say, women especially are very good at criticism. I don't know how it is from the guy's perspective. I haven't had a whole lot of experience there. But in Kathryn's program, that's one of the things we're supposed to curb is the criticism and come up with upbuilding and being able to use positive affirmations of what we want. We kind of put a twist on it and we validate the things that we do appreciate seeing rather than attacking and criticizing. We're actually supposed to be eliminating the attacks with criticism, contempt, and all that stuff. So you're giving us an assignment that is just, I used the WPF style to talk to somebody. I just asked, where's your smile? In the picture, it was a great picture, but where's that smile? Mm-hmm. And I was able to go from there, but I like not the way I was raised. It was always very passive aggressive. So I like having another alternative to being passive aggressive. And if we can be the constructive criticism is with the upbuilding intent versus the attack and criticize. So you may want us to attack each other, but we're learning not to. So it's kind of counterproductive for you guys.
No, it's true. The whole point, though, is exactly that. Is how do you do it, right? In my program, we teach something with curiosity, with the stat response, right? So you can actually attack somebody, right, for the nature of the assignment, so to speak, where you can invoke curiosity and find out what they're trying to do. So what were you trying to convey with the message when you weren't smiling? You can actually throw in your appreciation too, though, right? I'm betting it's a beautiful smile, right? And you get them thinking differently, right? But there's something else here too. This is a little bit different than, say, a marriage program like the White Big Fence or the Reset. This here, you guys are all supposed to be holding each other accountable or learning from. So if you're afraid to make a post, you don't know what to say, I want somebody to say, well, no, you shouldn't be afraid of your spouse because, and that can still feel like an attack, right? So it's going to be a little bit of both, okay? Partly the skills that you're learning with Kathryn, Serenity, sure. But also you want to challenge yourself to do more. And if somebody here says to you, I don't like this, or maybe you should have left that line off, what are we all learning to do right now? Not take everything so personal, right? Everything that you guys are posting here is going to be an opinion, right? So let's use Greg's social media one again. So you're scrolling on YouTube. What a waste of fucking time. First, you waste your time learning garbage, and then you waste your time practicing that garbage in real life, right? Well, that's still just an opinion. We're calling it garbage because of what we're doing here, right? But if somebody goes down a rabbit hole and likes what they're doing, maybe it's bringing them joy. Can they argue that it's not a waste of time? It made them laugh. So what you have to do is recognize you do want to go in there and say something. Not necessarily mean, but it's actually the other side of the coin that we're worried about. It's when somebody talks to you, how personally do you take it? Shouldn't matter at all. Because everything is just an opinion. I'll use the Bible that you just talked about, the word, Stephen, right? To a Christian or somebody who knows of it, they're probably going to believe it. Yeah, I've heard that before also, from my pastor. But to somebody who's not or has a bad experience with church, for example, or a lot of times religion is mistaken for Christianity, right? Or other way around, I should say. Well, then that gives somebody a bad taste. They're going to probably argue with you. They're going to feel like it's an attack. Even if you're gentle and loving and saying the word changed my life, somebody's going to say, fuck off, Steve. Right?
I've actually seen some church folks that I wanted to say that to you.
Sometimes, right? Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, I was going to say, I did have one comment on one of mine that at first when I read it, it kind of triggered me a little bit. It was one of my goals was to be the man that anybody can rely on. And somebody had said, well, that kind of sounds too much like the nice guy. Maybe your goal should be to be the man that you're proud of. It kind of struck me at first, but the more I thought about it, I don't see it as being the nice guy and being somebody that anybody can rely on. That is something that makes me proud.
I don't think it's not unreliable, Richard, by saying no, right? That totally means something different. And the nice guy will always say yes, right? People please, right? Afraid of the disapproval. But you could also get caught here too, trying to reflect and going, well, am I being a nice guy if I listen? Am I not being it's ruminating brain. It's just a bunch of fucking wasted time, right? That's a core value. Integrity, reliability, follow through. That's something that you can track. Did I say I'm going to do it and not do it? Did I defend myself when I wasn't able to do it? Right? So as long as your core value is trackable, you can have that as a core value. And with reliability, if that's how you want to boil it down, there's nothing wrong with that. Right? But that doesn't mean that it's not going to be too vague for other people. Reliable with what? Right? Now you're starting to talk about the nice guy. You might have to break that down. This is why we talk about goals and why we go further. What does the picture look like as a reliable person? That whole picture encompasses everything that we're talking about. You know what I mean? Okay. Anybody else want to talk about whether they felt alone, whether they felt like they didn't want to attack, or if they didn't follow through? I'd love to hear from anybody who didn't follow through and why. Nothing wrong with it. It's all part of the process. Everybody just posted like crazy. Somebody's lying.
I'll speak up a little bit.
Go for it.
So essentially, I was on a really good streak there, I'll call it. Posting every day, following through on the challenge.
Lost you.
Sorry, we got into a little bit of an argument, and I kind of lost motivation for a brief period there because I felt like my attention wasn't in the right place. So I kind of took a 2-day break just to get my head back together, make sure that I was still remaining true to, I guess, my core values with my family, and not spending so much time trying to make cool posts. Regardless of the fact that I've decided to limit my screen time, I found myself kind of caught up in, my workout, making the video, recording myself, doing it 3, 4, 5, 6 times over, then going into Instagram and creating the videos and then finding the music and things of that nature. So, I added to my notes today, actually, in the struggles was, making sure that this doesn't become an addiction, the posting and the bucket filling. So that's one thing I think that I've been struggling, and I've recognized and I plan to apply that.
I think that's a powerful, powerful reflection, guys. So your strategy will change on your journey, right? In the reset, we talk about how you can balance purpose with life, right? With yourself, with your family. But all of you will have to learn how to do that. You might not remember this, Matt. Maybe this will jog your memory if you don't. But right after you talked about the kinds of videos you were going to create, I was like, ooh, okay. I was thinking the exact same thing, time, right? And so one of the reasons why we're trying to keep this super, super simple is because it doesn't feel like time when you balance it accordingly. So it's more important to get your poop done than to videotape it. Super cool. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And I mean, if you guys think about it, like I put out a lot of content. I have a professional editor, right? So like it does take a lot of time. So right now, don't bog yourself down with the journey. The whole idea is to create ways to make the journey possible. Great reflection, Matt. Awesome. And speaking of the nice guy thing, think about it. He's thinking about what's important to him. We talked about his core values. He didn't think about how it was upsetting his wife. That may be something that brought everything to light, but he's thinking about his core values. So understanding the person you want to be is one of the most important parts of this. He can't fill his own cup if he's taking from his cup at the same time. Awesome, Matt. Awesome. Love it. Leah, go.
So I've been doing, you can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
I can't see any of y'all. I broke my glasses about 45 minutes ago. So this is, y'all are just a big blur.
And she's driving.
I can see far away. I just can't see anything right here. I have been posting, but not as aggressively as the homework calls for, because I got called out by one of my kids towards the end of last week, complaining that I was trying to document too much of our life for the purpose of posting it. And they felt like that was exploitive. And I was taken aback a little bit, but I was willing to perceive for their perception that, yeah, it can feel that way. You know, I've never, like, please don't post that. Every time I post, take a picture, like, Mom, is that for your social media? And so it got to the point where they wouldn't even let me take pictures because they felt like they were going to get exposed with every photograph. Even at church, they were like, Mom, you're taking pictures in the middle of church. I'm like, right, that they're not like intrusive. And she's like, yeah, but it's weird. And I was like, okay. So I've had to be considerate of them, honestly. I mean, they have an opinion too. They're coming into their own. They're teenagers. They have a right to control their image to an extent, etc. And so I've definitely peeled back a little bit. Plus, just trying to be present. It's a holiday weekend. You only get so many of these looks before your kids are grown and gone and don't think about you anymore. But I know that one of your assignments was to attack one another, and I heard what Serenity said, and I'm just kind of on Serenity's boat. Like, I've always said that criticism is taken poorly in private and not at all in public. And it felt to me like in a public forum, like it'd be one thing if I were to reach out, and some of the people in this group have reached out to me one-on-one relating to some of my posts, but not in a public setting. I think that I don't know. For me, it just feels rude to publicly criticize somebody. So I haven't done it.
It's okay.
That's why I haven't done it.
Let's talk about some of this. So I love this whole thing with your kids. You do have to be considerate of the people in your life, especially if you're posting publicly. So that has to align with where you're at, right? And it might guide you a little bit with what you are sharing. That doesn't change much from what we started with this whole process, though, right? Just that we were talking about your spouse typically, not your kids, right? So I'm totally on board with that. You know, Kathryn and I also had to check ourselves at one point on the weekend too. It's like, it's a holiday. We got to put our phones away. We're taking pictures of everything. Again, same thing, same conversation. We have to enjoy the time with the kids too, right? So very well done. I think it's great. As far as attacking, keep in mind, guys, and I can respect where you're at if you don't want to attack. The whole point, though, is to be attacked in a safe place, not take it personal, because you will get attacked online. You will. I don't care if you write the nicest post on the planet with the most pretty picture or the best video script, whatever. Somebody's going to be annoyed sooner or later, right? So you may not want to be the person who does it, and I can get on board with that. But I just want to make sure that you guys are on board with not taking anything personal when people do comment against you. Is that fair? Defensiveness kills you. Go ahead, Matt.
Sorry. So I logged in today, and I think Richard, I'm pretty sure you talked about me and my comment or my attack on you. And essentially what Cass talked about was kind of what I was really trying to challenge your brain to think, you know. So it sounds like it kind of got you thinking, kind of got the blood boiling and that sort of stuff. And that was really just my intentions. I did attack a few other people on there. I'm not sure if anybody's taken the time to read it or not. But I didn't really see anybody attacking, so I didn't really have a good example of what kind of you expected. So I kind of just broke down people's goals, you know, what they were doing to reach those goals, and tried to just challenge their way of thinking, kind of like you had said in the video. That was really all I just wanted to say was, you know, like, I did do some attacking. If you guys haven't looked, I think I picked like 3 random people and kind of went to it. You know, I didn't really pick anybody that I thought I knew, or any of the guys I don't even think I picked any guys from the reset. So, you know, I just had to say that little piece because I feel like it was important.
I love it. All I want to do is support. So a lot of it's perception, right? If you perceive of, I don't want to be somebody who attacks, I'm pretty sure I wrote attack with love. If I didn't, I guess I deleted that. But I think I said attack with love. So perception.
And I actually did put that in at the end.
Did you?
This comes from a place with love.
There you go. So it's perception, guys, right? How you read it is how you're going to interpret it, and based off your experiences. In Serenity's example, she's using Kathryn's program and is like, well, this is against what I'm learning, right? So it's because the word is attack, right? Jolene, go.
So I totally get where Leah's saying, you know, with her kids, and my goal is a little bit different as far as being a healthier version of myself, especially for my kid. Being able to, we didn't have school Friday and Monday, and I took it off. I'm a school administrator. So I did a workout at home in front of the kids, and they joined me. And one of my videos, Rory's crawling all over me. Mm-hmm. And my goal, like maybe the bigger goal is, hey, moms, you can do this. That was a 7-minute act workout that killed me. My mom on Sunday goes, Jolene, why are you walking like you have a limp or something? I'm like, I can't walk.
Love it.
But just putting out there that, and I don't post a lot of my kids, but I thought it was really important in this instance that, you know, I show my vulnerability with the kids, and it just has to happen.
And sometimes that will make sense, right? Working out, showing the kids a better example, letting mom see, you know, the kid climbing. We've had lots of videos like that too, where the kids are climbing all over, because we used to let kids come to the gym. That's a little bit different than probably what Leah's experiencing, right? But Leah's experience is maybe personal, more intimate moments, which you could say would be working out as well, potentially, depending on how self-conscious your child is, you know, how self-conscious you are. But for you, I want you to break out of that comfort zone. We don't need to force anybody into our new circle that's bigger. We don't want to force. That's never going to lead, right? So where you have an opportunity with what you're doing, great. Leah's expressing different circumstances where, same with a lot of your spouses, where you wouldn't. Serenity, one of your posts that you want to figure out how to write was like, you know, something along the lines of, you know, my partner with porn and alcohol or something like that. And I don't know if I should post it, I think is what you said, right? Well, I think you should, you know, but you don't have to talk about it like a post about him. However, that's going to probably piss him off. So if we're not there yet, then I don't think you should. So I just contradicted myself, right? You need to have the tools. You need to be able to walk through that journey with them, you know? If you can personalize it more, then it's relatable. That doesn't mean your marriage is ready for that yet. Make sense? Serenity, go.
For a second, I thought you were talking to me. I'm like, what? I need to kind of reiterate or read the back step on what I was saying about Kathryn's program. The reason why I appreciated not attacking is because I was one of the bait dogs in my family. So if anyone knows what dog fighting is, I was probably, as far as I know, when it came to family gatherings or anything, I was pretty much the bait dog. In private lives, I know the kids were often the bait dogs. Like we had no defenses. And it was always attack, whether it was verbal, physical, all criticism, contempt. Like, how can you have contempt for your child? Anyways, shortening that story, that's the only thing that I know is to either be silent or to attack, be silent or to attack. And I was the silent one. And so when it came to being married and the problems in the marriage, the abuse in the marriage that I swore I would never get myself back into, I didn't know how to hold my space without the criticizing and like, I'm not letting you drown me. And I will, at that point is when I started attacking back, because now I learned a fight response. I couldn't run from it, so I was learning to fight back. So then in Kathryn's program, and maybe everybody here can relate to being personally attacked in early years in their life where it became personal.
So what, honey?
So in Kathryn's program, learning that there's another option was really integral for me to learn how to do it without that. And I actually had just asked in the group, which doesn't have to be addressed here, but like, what is the difference between running and moving on and moving forward? Because they're still getting away with the same behavior they're doing. Don't want it addressed here. I'll take that up later. But like, it really takes a lot for me to understand the differences between things. And so even when I'm supposed to attack kindly or attack with love, it's still very much the root word of attack, because I was attacked with love by my family. I love you. And
this is gold, because if anybody else didn't catch it, the whole thing is getting out of her comfort zone. Everything. Right down to analyzing if it's fawning or like you literally are constantly having to get out of your comfort zone. It's good. There's no rush. The point is to move forward.
And guess who's got me telling my story to the world? Thank you very much. I feel my neck on the chopping block. Thank you.
I love the chopping block. I think that if we can all
Not my place.
embrace the chopping block. Like, essentially, you do it for yourself. That's why I did the whole ghost you for 3 days and see what would happen. Right? You know, like the whole point is you want more for you. And you don't have to agree with everything that I say either. You don't. I want you to identify you and take steps to build that person. Even in my program, when I teach my core values, I'm saying, I think I say in every one of them, you should steal this one. But every man's going to pick his own. Right? They're your fucking values, not mine. Right? I can give you ideas. And so I think that that's great, Serenity. If you're 100% stepping outside of your comfort zone every single day, you can't lose. It will feel like it at some point, or it's not going fast enough, or you'll struggle with time like Matt was talking about, or you'll struggle on a step like Greg's anxious to get to talking about scripts. But you'll realize that none of that matters. It's all just more noise holding you back. So let me go back to it again. How many of you who removed something added it back in? I'll call it a cheat meal over the weekend. Anybody? I know that people DM me. Okay, is that you, Michael, that put your hand up for that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm obviously still struggling with the smoking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of right then. I made a post about it yesterday, I think. But yeah, still really struggling with the no smoking.
I love that. And I saw your post. I love that.
Okay with everything else, but the no smoking is tough.
100%. But I'm not going to say smoking. I'm just going to say anything that you're struggling with. Okay? Like, it wasn't like I decided to have a drink. Like, yeah, I'll just have a drink. You know? It was like a conversation. And then I had another one with Kathryn. And I still thought about it some more. You know, like, the whole point, guys, is to be real. And then it shouldn't feel like an attack. You should be able to challenge somebody and say, well, did you smoke or not? Okay. Did you post it or not? So when you're worried about being that person who says their view, their opinion, shares their value, then you can let that go, because you didn't say you were perfect. You just recognize this opinion and why. And it's a struggle that you overcome. And then when you actually have overcome struggles, and that's what you're sharing, that's something that you can be even more authentic with. I'll use Jolene for a second. Kids clowning on her for the workout. But when she's exactly who she wants to be, when she's looking at it in the mirror, when she's exactly who she wants to be with the energy of the kids, whatever that picture looks like, all the struggles were there and real at the same time. That's the whole point about documenting. It gives you credibility, right? I'm not worried that I had a drink. I don't care if anybody looks down on me for it, right? But I know who I am and where I'm going. I can comfortably say to a guy on the phone today, yeah, I don't have to worry about forgiveness and trust with Kathryn. Not anymore. I want you guys to feel like that. So even if you do have a smoke, Michael, if one of you guys decided to have coffee again, right? I know somebody slipped with their porn, okay? Like, at the end of the day, that's real. Anybody want more real in life? I know I'd sure appreciate it. You know what I mean? Rob, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You want to talk about not following through? When I was gone for a week, I basically just stopped with the momentum stuff. And then when I got back, I decided I was going to try to get back into it. And there's just so much to catch up on. And so I really haven't. I mean, I'm still doing the 10 miles a day thing, and I'm posting. But when I posted last night, I didn't even hashtag more momentum, because I really feel like I'm not following the momentum program. And so, you know, I just, I didn't want to hashtag it because it didn't really feel like I was doing what you're asking of everybody.
Let's address that right now real quick. Guys, as long as you are taking steps forward, first here, you're doing the program. This isn't a hard course. This isn't like solid step-by-step. This is going to be like this is each one of you have your own journey. If you want to take a fucking week off because you're going on a holiday, go enjoy your holiday. Just know that if you aren't going to pick it back up when you get back, then what else are you going to sacrifice in your life? Time to get real with yourself. So don't feel bad. Don't think, oh, I don't want to hashtag. No, why? Fuck, you can tag me on anything. I don't give a shit. Right? The point is that you need to give a shit.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I'm definitely still following along, and I'm trying to learn this because this will be important later with my purpose and whatnot. I just, like I said, I feel like I'm way behind on it, and I'm not sure how to catch up, to be honest with you.
Super, super simple, guys. Just go to, maybe I should put this at the front of it for you guys, but simply like the post structure, post your checklist in the day. It's okay. You don't have to go to day 0 if you fuck something up. This is the beginning of a new journey. That's it. You're on a journey, right? Like Dennis is going all in with like a whole bunch of things, day 89 for this and day 120 for that. You don't have to. Just keep yourself moving forward. The day count makes it more appealing for people to support you or challenge you, which you need both while you're on this journey. That's it. Okay? But you just start again. That's how it works. Guys, when I took the first course, it didn't do anything for my marriage. That was the anger management one. I read the first book. Well, it was the second time I read 5 love languages, and it didn't do anything for me. And it just kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. It's the same thing as starting and stopping. First time I was proud and I didn't yell at my wife, recognized I was being defensive. I was proud, but I still fucked up again. Right? The point is to keep yourself moving forward. It's really up here. It's not for, am I doing the program? The program just makes it a little bit easier for you to hold yourself accountable until you get there. Because you do have people here, right? Somebody said to Rob, I think I know what you're trying to say. Like, that's because he felt like a fraud if I'm not doing it. Good, you should think that. But don't think you're in judgment, no matter how harsh I get. If you're in my other program, I'll come down on you. Like the boys will tell you, right? But this is something different. This is something that I felt was missing from my other program that everybody could benefit. And it's really about making sure that we had a guy on the call today in the other program who said, I used it and stopped, I think 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks in. He didn't even watch the first sets of training modules. He's just going through them now, and he's a month into the program. This is why. So you're not a fraud if you recognize where you're at. I would be a fraud if I put a post up and said, I'm sober today. Well, today I am, but you know what I mean, right?
No.
That's the thing. You're not a fraud if you're authentic. You're not a fraud if you're real. Dennis might not read the Bible tomorrow. I mean, I don't see that happening. But I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Dennis is not going to post that he read the Bible if he didn't. As long as you know where you're at, guys, you start, you stop. In fact, it's better if you feel that way, some sort of negative. Don't sit in your pain now. Just get started again. Cool?
All right. Sounds good.
Cool. Troy.
Hey, actually, following everybody, you guys just kind of talked about all the things I want to discuss. The trigger for me, I got started late in the program. Well, been following since day one, but was slow to start posting. Made my first post this weekend. Easter, went back to church for the first time in who knows how long. And then that high was, and this kind of goes back to the reset program. My wife made a comment. We had we had a verbal altercation. And she texted me something about my time would be better spent if I wasn't on calls all the time talking to people who are going through the same stuff, and we're just talking about our problems, not knowing that the program is not about her, it's about me. We're trying to figure out how to navigate that and then let it go and get back to focusing on me. It was
Okay, well, you bring up a
It was a
really
struggle.
valuable point. So if you think about the whole attack part of what we were trying to do, I want you guys to feel, so this is an attack. Where does it come from? An opinion. And an opinion is really just an assumption and somebody's perception, right? That's not the first person and will not be the last person that thinks a program like the Reset or White Picket Fence is where you're sitting in your pain, venting, talking about shit. Because what do we see? Go to Facebook, for example. How many millions of groups are there where people just sit in their pain? Like, I know that if you search sexless marriage, there's like dozens and dozens of them where people just sit there. How many times, Troy, have you heard about one of our guys with a wife on Reddit, constantly going through and talking about shit in the marriage? All you can do is understand what they're thinking from their point of view, right? You start, respond, provide a little structure. You don't defend yourself. You know exactly what you're doing and why, right? In fact, you know that I don't let you sit in your pain.
That's true.
Don't. Okay. Are you done? Good. That's what I said to a guy on the call today. Are you done? Good. We're over it now. Move on. Right? So understand that the world will not understand what you're doing, whether you're talking about your kids, your spouse, you're talking about your parents. You know, most people aren't going to do anything. They're used to sitting in negative. That's what they do. Right? And that's why we hold ourselves to a lower standard and sit in our pain if we stopped posting, or if we slept in instead of having the extra hour every day. I do take 1 to 2 days a week and sleep in longer. I do. But I always talk about getting up at 3:30 or 4 in the morning. I still like to sleep in 2 days a week and reset. I don't care what my mentor does. So just own where you're at and deal, right? Understand that if people fear the unknown, they're going to hold it against you, you know? She's also not solution-based right now. If any of your partners are checked out, guys, they're not solution-based right now. Like, they're in victim mode. They're in attack mode. They're in blame mode, right? So just remember that, okay? Now, good for you. You got started. The guy's been coming to these calls for 2 weeks. Got started. Yay! Congratulations. Right on. Now just add the next thing. Remove the other thing. Think about the bigger picture. You, for fuck's sakes, need to figure out your damn purpose. I know what it is. Get to work. We've talked about it a dozen times. Get to work. Start relating to those dads from the military who don't have that anymore. Okay?
Got it.
Cool. All right. Let's talk a little bit about posting, because some of you are so stressed out. It's not that hard. And I want you to just remove the stress. I want you to keep this super, super to the point and simple. Most of the time we talk too much because we know too much up here, or we're trying to convince. Okay? So, Greg, since you stress about this a lot, I want you to come on here with me. All right. Greg, you want to do which one? You want to do social media? You want to do a couple?
I was just, myself and a couple others were just a little confused on the homework from day 8. So like when you're talking about the script format, just what exactly that means.
Okay, so first thing I want to do is tell you guys, this script is for you. It's for you to understand what you're going to say and why you're going to say it. Okay? So the format is like an outline. Okay? In the beginning, it might be easier to not have, which is why I was just letting you guys just post. Go be real with whatever's going on. Why are you not drinking coffee? I would not teach people about the benefits of having less than 2 cups a day of coffee. Nobody gives a shit. Or they already know. It's like Michael teaching people the benefits of not smoking. Everybody fucking knows. Right? But you do attract attention if you talk about how gross they are from smoking. But do we want to do that? Well, if that's your mission, sure. You know what I mean? So what's your idea you want to talk about, Greg?
I mean, it wasn't necessarily that I had a specific idea. It was just more when I would kept going through your notes on the homework, just not really understanding.
Well, you have to have an idea. So what do you
trying to convey?
So what do you want to teach? Give me something you want to teach. Do you want to do morning routine?
Yeah, I'm planning on doing that for sure.
Your life sucks because you don't even get up early enough to take care of yourself. Done. Right? You could try to be positive. I know Serenity's going to be dealing with this whole attack thing right now. So want more from your life, get up, do your morning routine. Right? So the first part of the message is really try to focus on pain if you can, right? Meaning if they understand it hurts, they're going to listen more. Cole, my mentor, has a wicked way of putting this. He said, pain is universal. Love is not. Babies are born and dropped in dumpsters every day. Pain, right? And so if you can tie this back to pain, so whatever the reason is, I know you want people off social media was the example you used on the app, right? Why? That's the purpose of the video or the script that you're writing, the post that you're making. So you're hooking with pain, and then you're going to go with your purpose. Like, what are you trying to achieve? So if I use Michael's, you stink with the cigarette, right? Well, they know that. That's not going to hurt them because they already know that. There's no pain there. We as smokers have just washed that away, right? But you might say, your wife doesn't want to fuck you because you smell bad from the cigarette. Hit them where it hurts, right? So when you're struggling with this, you have to know why. That might not matter to Michael. That matters to me because of what I do for a living. I want passionate sex in a marriage for everyone. I think it's the checkered flag. So I don't mind telling somebody they stink like a cigarette and ashtray and they're not going to get laid. Right? I also have no problems judging somebody for their weight because I think that they should be in shape. And I think that that's attractive to be in shape, not just physically, but because of energy. What is my purpose? My purpose is to bring people together. That's the purpose. I want somebody to get healthy so they can spend time together. When I talk about my dream, my vision, I see Kathryn and me sitting by a pool fit. I want people to experience that vision, right? So do you have an idea? I want to work with you, Greg, because I know you stress about this a little bit. So what is something that you really want people to change and why?
It's a lot, but yeah, it's just more focused around your morning routine and fitness and kind of taking care of the things that matter first in the morning that set you apart.
Okay. So you could use Cole's line. I do more before the world wakes up than you do. Right? Something like that. While you're sleeping, I've already got all this done for the day, and pick things that are things that they just won't ever get to. Right? Especially if you're doing like a post. If it's like, you're wasting time on social media, you could be assessing your core values and reaching your goal. Is this all viral? No. Right now, do you care? No. Right now, you care about giving people what you know. And if you can show them that there's a better way, that should be the purpose. Why do you want them to do their morning routine? What is it? Is it because until you had a morning routine, you were 40 pounds overweight? Maybe.
One of them, yeah.
So you run through that, and each one of those things are something that should lead you to your why. Why do you want people to know this? What is the goal? So if you're getting people active and doing their morning routines and 1% better on their core values and daily principles every day, why? What do you want for them?
I want them to succeed and, achieve their goals and dreams that they have.
Why?
Because it's felt really good to be on the journey myself and achieve things that I didn't think that I could achieve.
Why?
I don't know.
See, the more you can hone in on this, the more that you're not going to change your message for somebody else. Remember the example I like to use? People get mad at me because I swear. Well, if I start filtering that, I'm going to start filtering my message. Fuck that. Right? But you'll start to develop your message only through practice. Especially once you've removed the noise and you're not trying to change your message from all these other perspectives. So the closer you can get to it and personalize it, right? So, you can start to hit them where it hurts. I used to hate myself. I was 40 pounds overweight. I didn't even see my penis when I looked down. Fuck, be real. The more real you can be, that's the pain they're going to get. Then if you understand why, now I get to use it. I don't know, whatever your why is, right?
Yeah.
That's practice. That is honing in on your message. And many of you won't have that yet. So the gist right now is to give more of what we would call attention, which is really just an opinion, right? You need alcohol to have fun with your wife. You need, I'm going to go to parents for a second. You want to be a better parent, but you drink as soon as they're in bed. So you don't even read them a story because the bottle's calling your name. Put it down. Find what it is inside of you that you figured out. I don't care if you've only on Troy first day and he feels great. I've been a lost soul my whole life and I just went back to church. Fuck, maybe that's all you say right now. I've never felt more alone than when I left church. If that's what you felt, because a lot of people will, be real. And just start small. Leah is so comfortable on camera. Leah can go and go and go. Not everyone's going to feel like that. Serenity's comfortable writing. Phew. She'll give you a book. But not everybody's going to feel like that. But I'd encourage you to start as slow and as small as you can. What I mean by slow, I mean like it might take you just as much time as write a long one, but it's a good message for that why. Right? An opinion is going to be easier because you might not have the tools yet. Now, flip side, I'll go to the morning routine. You do have ideas how to do core values, morning routine, workout, gratitude, right? So talk about it. Give the 3 things that you would do after you've hooked them with pain. That's it. So 1 would be opinion. Attention is telling them, right, why they don't have what they want, right? You spend all this time on social media just to find the dream couple you want to be. That you miss every moment with your wife. Why is it that you want people off social media? That's my why. So you got to be clear, guys. If you don't know, now it's okay. Fuck, I think it'd be hilarious if a bunch of you just did posts saying, I removed caffeine from my life. I have no idea why, but I know it's moving me forward. Fuck, how real is that? Then you're probably get more engagement anyways. People tell you their reasons why. The more authentic you can be, the more you're going to inspire. First hear yourself, and then. But stress less about the message you're delivering and more about what you're doing, what you're giving them, right? Matt, I'd love to see a post about how I was trying to do 4-hour videos. Fuck that, it takes away from my family. So much for getting healthy. Whatever, just be real. Start with that. Worry less about the structure. And then if you have tools, give them the tools. Serenity could give one about the land in the book she read. Favorite quote. Hook them with pain. You're broke with real estate because you're doing it wrong. And then give a quote that backs it up. It's not even your tool. Just credit them. Right? Does that make sense, Greg?
Kaz, real quick.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, I enjoy these calls a lot, and your perspective, the way your mind operates when you come up, like what you just said to Matt about, hey, I was trying to do 4-hour videos. That was just the perspective is really insightful. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Serenity, go.
A lot of what you said really resonates right now because I've been on a healing journey for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've literally had to build my life from scratch. People are starting to get more of an awareness of my story, which is definitely not comfortable. But one of the things that I've learned is in my healing journey and in my growth, I gravitate to the things that have worked for me, the things that I become passionate about, because it has affected my life for the better. And so even like what you're saying, if it's just a gym workout or a morning walk or a Bible study, if it's something that makes our life better, we have like an innate desire to share it with other people because we know it works.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Just like your guys' program. You didn't start out with millions of people around the world. You started out with a small crowd that could resonate. And from there, it's like, hey, you got to check this out because your wife sounds like my wife or your husband sounds like my husband. Check it out. And that's how that momentum gets going. And the things that I have found my solace in, the things that I found my growth in are always what I end up advertising in regular conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a lady today that, Cass, you thought my story was harrowing? You should have heard the lady that I talked to today. I just naturally gravitate to people who have stories that are the same, are on the same level as mine. Mm-hmm. Not that one trauma's better or worse than another, but she's got the stalking. They've got family members in hiding. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And where did it gravitate to? I talked about the moral momentum that I'm in, about coming out with my story. And then I brought up the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu because it allows the body to find closure in the trauma. And so her and I actually wound up exchanging phone numbers.
It's amazing.
And it's like, these are the things that are building me up. And that's what we gravitate to.
Yes,
I think that's
yes
like what you're
no.
trying to say with all this.
Yes and no. Just be careful, though, because I don't want anybody to get confused. You're doing things that you can't. That's my big thing. Do what you can't, because we all can, and that's what we do gravitate towards. But what you're finding is you're getting good at some of the things that you can't. And so now this is why we can move forward and get ahead, right? I'm going to use Rob as an example here for a second. Rob, you can literally say, I feel like I never get done what I want to get done. I have trouble with accountability. Either one of those could be a way to start. And you could say, what I learned is when I'm struggling, I just tell somebody who I trust. Done. Now you're doing something that you normally wouldn't do. Many men like me, where we didn't want to ask for help. That's a can't. But now Rob's comfortable asking for help. He's comfortable voicing his opinion with, I didn't pick up because, right? That's doing what you can't. You get good at it, and then you start telling people confidently what they can achieve if they follow your footsteps. Right? Another thing that Rob might know is to tell, or might say, is to tell people, make sure they have what you want, or you're not learning from someone who can help move you forward. Right? So all of this started with something that you can't. Most of you are here also for the same reason, because you can't. It was something in your life. Let's get good at it. Let's get real good at what we can't. Okay? So, I know some of you are jumping in. Don't worry about it. Just put your list up of what you day count, whatever day you're on. Don't stress too much. The whole thing is forward moving. It's evergreen. It doesn't stop. Put your little list up of what you're doing every day, what you're removing, your add or subtract. And if you can, take a little picture, just a quick picture, and post it. One of those things on that list. If some of you are starting over, so what? Because you know what? Those people that you're worried about bothering, who will judge you because you're starting over, they didn't even fucking start. Okay? Just get rock and roll. And then if you're going to go even further and do day 8 with the script thing, think less. Just think less. Slow it down. Right? What do I want them to do and why? If I can get them to hurt, I can get them to listen. It's not about. Otherwise, guys, by the way, you all found me because I attack. Keep in mind, I'm telling you, I say you, but I'm really saying I. All of my content is something, like 99.9% is something that I learned and changed about myself. I just say you because people hear it when you're talking to them when you say you. People don't like to hear from I until you're bigger, right? So attack them. Feel comfortable attacking them by saying you. That's why I said you hate your life because your marriage isn't the picture perfect one. Your kids don't respect you because you're still broke because your videos suck because just own it. It's a lesson that you learned. Own it. I'm going to sing the video one because I started to think somewhere in there somebody probably likes to take pictures. There's always somebody who wants to be a photographer or wanted to be a photographer. Anybody here? There's one. There's always somebody. There's always somebody who thinks they're a personal trainer. There's always somebody who thinks they know all about investing. You guys can all start raising your hand. You can just accept the fact that you all know things you think that you're an expert in. So go talk about it. Think less about it. Tell them why. In that practice of doing it every single day, you will feel so confident because you're just practicing saying your message. I don't know how long Leah's been doing social media, but she's very confident talking about it because she knows the subject matter she's talking about. Right? That's all it is. Each one of you are an expert in something. Don't tell me you suck at everything in your life. Anybody feel like they suck at everything? It's okay. Now's the time to talk about it. Nobody. That's good. It's a good place to be. So go
It's
talk
called
about
imposter syndrome.
imposter syndrome. I got news for you. You're all fucking imposters right now. We always are as we grow. Get comfortable on the journey because we're never that guy. We're never the one we want to be. We're all imposters. We talked about body dysmorphia this week, or last week, right? Whether you're a man or woman, there's things that are real that people don't want to talk about. You're feeling it. Talk about it. Okay? One thing I do want to encourage you, though, is this. Many of you are getting too hung up on like the add or subtract. maybe you need to spend a little bit more time thinking about the goals that you're trying to achieve. Greg, for example, I don't know, because I know my life is better when I'm achieving goals. And like, why, man? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to hear your message? Why? That's what you have to know. One of the reasons why Leah is so confident is because she knows exactly who she's speaking to. That's the same as me. So let me flip this. Add or subtract. Many of you guys are getting stuck. So I'll use you, Matt. You know exactly why you're adding and subtracting things, and you wanted to get into the whole system and the program and just go follow through. But like, what is the ultimate goal? What is the purpose? Right? I'm going to pretend it's your clothing brand because you love the idea of having your own clothing brand. Well, dude, you're also like one of the biggest supporting lords in my program. Guys, like you'd be like the enthusiast. You bleed red. And I say that because of the reset, right? Not bleeding red. But, well, potentially you have a wicked clothing line that's really based around motivation. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's a way to do that. Why? Because you want to inspire people. You want people to feel as good as you feel, even when they're struggling like when you struggle. At the heart of hearts, that's who you are as a man. You want men who wear their heart on their sleeve to feel confident enough to keep moving forward. If I had to sum you up, knowing you what I know of you, well, that's good. Because men think that they're alone. You need to have my message for that. Just moving and doing your thing and saying that message once a week on a post. But then the rest of the time posting on your stories and showing the world what you're doing. Once a week making a post about why you want men to feel like you feel. That you struggle sometimes. That you get up and you keep going. That even if you sometimes overachieve and try to do too much to make it happen and realize it probably should have started differently, my gosh, people need to hear that. Why? Because that's the person that will quit. The one who's not doing it like you. Who's not going to show up every day anyways. I don't really understand the homework, but I'm fucking going to do it. That's amazing. You know who could benefit from that? 99.9% of the fucking world. And that's not even a big why yet. So please, guys, don't overthink this. The whole point is, and again, I said we'd take this to where we can make all kinds of money at the end of it and try to, maybe that's not what we need right now. Maybe that's momentum 2.0. Right now, we need to get you guys way out of this comfort zone and focusing on figuring out some of these whys. We're going to be adding a discussion on core values too, daily principles and purpose throughout this anyways. We're already lining it up. But in the meantime, most of this is the self-reflection journey. We can give my take on how we do core values and Kathryn's take, and we can talk about what the importance of daily principles are and routines and this, all of that, sure. But most of you, that's not really what the problem is. I do think that all of you would just follow ABC routine that I give you because you're all here still. You're going to follow it to the best that you can. So that's not really the issue. Does that make sense, guys? Hopefully. All right. So this is what I want you guys to do for homework. I want you to think about and either go attack with love or remove the word attack and share hope and inspiration. Okay. And 2, I want you guys to dig a little deeper into this. Who do I want to help and why? It's really easy once I start to get to know you, right? But you have to be able to share with me a part of who you are that we can then explore. So we need to spend some more time reflecting. Because I'm going to use you, Greg, because it can be super awesome to know the benefits of a morning routine and why we have goals and core values and stuff. But it's really pretty to say I want to help the world and make them happier, whole. But it doesn't do anything. Otherwise, we'd all just look at those inspirational quotes and we'd say that's enough. It's not. Unfortunately, it's not. if you know anything about me, even in the reset forever, up until version 4, I was like, fuck affirmation statements. Fuck that. Fuck The Secret. Fuck vision boards. Fuck mindset. That's why I used to say this. You just got to fucking work. It's all fucking mindset. It's all mindset. It's all creating the vision of what you want. And to do that, to be here and hold yourself accountable, you have to know where you're going. To be able to give more, the world is so abundant, but you got to know what you're giving. You each have more than one thing to give. You're just stuck in the way that society does things, right? 9 to 5. I'm a parent. I only know how to fight with my spouse. Because none of this makes you special. This is all normal, unfortunately. Okay, so let's spend a little time thinking about what it is you truly want. Think less about goals. If you were, I'm not saying that you want to speak on stage, but if you were speaking on stage getting paid $1 million to speak today, what are you talking about? Don't think about looking goofy on stage. You're getting paid $1 million. You don't look like an asshole. In fact, people think you're amazing. That's why they're paying you $1 million. That's what I'm going to call the homework assignment. $1 million stage talk. Okay? You guys, go put a momentum, and let's talk about it tomorrow, what that looks like so we can actually make some fucking real content. How's that sound? Okay, good. I can't wait. Let's do it. Get to work. See you guys. Sweet job. Oh, happiness comes with peace of mind. Well, I'm a managing, self-aware, severe narcissist, Rose. But yes, you're right. It can be a problem, but I think you might be a spammer. Oh, I can't tell. Comments blocked off here. All right, see you guys.